Nine.
Hey.
Hey.
And hey, everyone.
Hi,
Hey,
everyone.
everyone.
Good day, good day, good day, good day. How are you feeling today, ladies?
We're good. How are you? How's in sunny New York? Correct?
New York. Yes, 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 yes.
Nice.
For those who may not know who I am, my name is Zaya. I'm located in New York via Trinidad and Tobago. So yes, I'm Trinidadian representing New York right now, though. Brooklyn, New York to be exact. And you?
My name is Ida. I'm based in London. I am representing Inside Soca magazine. I've been in the carnival scene for 20 year plus.
Okay.
And yeah, and I am in Blighty, England.
What's
And
the
you?
weather in England right now?
It's
Um,
not the best.
yeah, put it this way, I've got a hoodie on in near
A
June.
hoodie?
It's
Oh my
not,
God.
yeah. It's a hoodie on.
Well, I have on a jogger, but the only reason why because I have AC in my vehicle right now, so I actually have the air conditioner on.
Oh, you're showing
Okay.
off. Marsha, introduce yourself, please.
Okay. Okay, I'm Marsha. Also in lovely London, enjoying our up and down weather as per normal. Yep. So I
All right.
represent on the road. Been in and out the carnival scene since childhood with my
Okay.
grandparents. Steel pan, playing mass in Trinidad.
Okay.
Yeah, so I love everything carnival and
So
Caribbean culture related.
so who do you like more, Mangrove or Ebionites?
Oh, don't start. Don't. Don't start. I'm not going on that road. Oh, you're not hanging me. No, 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 no.
Shout out to Pepe in London, good friend of my father's. Big pan man in London.
Nice.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey,
Giselle,
Giselle.
Hey,
hey,
good night,
welcome,
good night.
girl. Good night, good night.
Hey, good day, Giselle.
Hi, Zaya. Hi, Masha. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see
Hey,
everybody. Everyone, my name is Giselle. I am heavily involved in Carnival in the UK. I want to say a big shout out to all the GMI crew, all my GMites. That's from my band GMI, international band, mass band. And we just looking forward to when we have Carnival again. Also involved in Carnival Arts, teaching Carnival Arts in schools, and doing a lot of community work around Carnival and the culture in general. And I'm a proud Trini, proud Caribbean woman, and really, really happy to be a part of Carnival Slayers Hot Sauce.
That's right, hot sauce.
Yeah,
Mm.
boom bang.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
So,
I believe we just waited on one more person, isn't it?
Yes, we are.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So I think everyone did introductions and stuff, right?
Yes,
Yep,
we
you
did.
did that.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
cool. Cool, cool, cool. Well, I think what we'll do is just wait a few more minutes. And Zaya, you make sure you be careful on the road there because you look like you're driving.
Well, I'm actually being chauffeured today, so
Oh, okay, cool.
you see,
Mm.
the thing about you guys, it might be 9 o'clock over there, but it's 4 o'clock here in Brooklyn, and rush
Yeah.
hour
Yeah.
has just begun. So I'm rushing
Ooh.
from work, rushing to get home. So yeah, so I'm in the midst of traffic.
Right. Yeah,
But
because
this is a must participate event, so I had to be here.
you know what? And I am so glad that you're here. You're a little outnumbered tonight. You know,
Yes.
a little outnumbered.
Am I really outnumbered, or maybe it's just the way I like it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure, because usually the man them happy to be amongst plenty women, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
from what I remember, the last interview, the last podcast that you did, Zaya, you was quite happy amongst the women. You was quite happy amongst the women
Oh
Absolutely,
yeah.
in the
absolutely.
comments because I was
Those
in the comments. I
I'm
was
sure
the
that's a win
comments.
of mine.
Ah, that's cool. Yeah, he was very
Mhm.
comfortable.
That conversation was the if I remember, was outside or the inside man? Is it outside man? Giselle,
Yes.
you remember?
Yeah.
That was part of it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Definitely.
think at our age, we all played some role in form or fashion in some part. Sometimes we've been the inside, sometimes we've been the outside. Sometimes we're the outside and may not even know we was the outside. So we all play different roles in our lives.
I
You just
like that
find yourself
outside,
there.
inside.
Mm-hmm.
For real, for real. I just want to say a big shout out to all the people from the Caribbean locked on. I know I have TNT locked in watching us now. So big up to everybody in Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad
And of
on
course,
lockdown.
yeah, Trinidad on lock. And of course the UK viewers as well. Big shout
Yeah.
out to all the UK viewers. And usually, with Slayer's Hot Sauce, we tend to touch all corners of the globe, Everyone likes
True.
to tune in to the discussion because they know it's pure fire. And of course, the things that we talk about are so relevant to everybody, not just, our community, but to everybody. So big shout out to everybody
That
that's
was a
tuned in
one-way.
from wherever you are. Good morning, good evening, good night, and welcome, welcome, welcome. We just literally trying to give some more time to one of our panelists who will be on here before we jump into tonight's or today's topics. And I am your host for today in terms of steering the conversation, which I know is going to be very interesting because I know everybody have different perspectives on stuff. So I am so looking forward to this because I know it's going to be real, real fire. So we'll literally give, it's now 6 minutes past 9 in the UK. So guys, what you think? Another couple of minutes is okay?
I'm fine. Whatever the ladies decide is fine with me.
I like that, I like a man that says that.
It's the right answer. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Wisdom come with
That is
age.
the right
Wisdom come with
answer.
age.
The right answer.
Yes. Fellas, take note, okay? So for you, when you're with your wife or your partner or whatever she says, you happy with that,
Mhm.
As the saying goes, there is what happy wife, happy life, happy woman,
Yes.
happy life. So.
I mean, I just disagree in my head. I just don't verbalize it.
I like that. I like that. So everybody that's watching, please share the live. Tell your friends to tune in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Everybody tune in. Because what we're going to discuss is so interesting. That is, it would be something else if you don't share it with your friends and share it live. So please share it. Tell everybody. Tell everybody.
Come join in. Join in.
Understand, Marsha looking so pretty tonight.
I know I get new hair. I get new hair. Yeah, I show off. Put on look new hair.
You know what I mean? You look good. That fine chocolate body is looking good.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
I need some sunshine to help it along,
Did they open up
boy.
Heathrow already?
Yeah.
Is Heathrow open up for New Yorkers?
Oh no, we're suffering in the UK.
Aye,
We're
aye,
suffering.
aye.
Not yet, boy. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And if it open up and all, you come and bring the sun with all it because like summer forget we this year. So
Most definitely, most
Go
definitely.
on.
summer like last year we get spoiled. Last year the weather was so nice.
Nice.
And this year I don't know what it is going on because we almost in June and it's still cold outside.
Let me tell you
You know?
something. One of the coldest days I ever experienced was Carnival in London, I believe. It was several years. It was Carnival in London. Now, here's the crazy part about it. You might say, well, relatively wasn't that cold. But keep in mind, I came straight from Grenada Carnival. So I was hanging out in Grenada Carnival, and I came from Grenada and I went to London. So from the weather, and it was not what I expected.
Yeah.
And it was way too cold that year. I believe it was 2017 or 2018. The first day was very cold.
Wow.
Put it on both because if it goes
Yeah,
again,
that
it's
is
on both.
not uncommon.
Yes, I wasn't ready for
Not
it.
uncommon.
I was not ready.
Yeah, nah, it's crazy, man. It's really crazy. As people say, we sometimes we get like 4 seasons in one day over here. So
Literally.
it's really mad. It's really mad. All right,
But then,
so
yeah.
we ready to start now because we've given 3 minutes. So when our next panelist joins us, she will just jump in, and that's Rasta Barbie, who will be joining us whenever she's available. So the first topic on tonight, and I mean this is some serious stuff. When I saw this topic, I was like, ooh, this is something else here, because this is something that is common, around the world. And I really am interested to hear everybody's perspective on this, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is about dating older.
You have to walk with everything.
And, you know what I mean? And it's like, do you think it's acceptable? And we're talking about adults here, people. It's not about underage children or teenagers or anything. We're talking about adults. So the legal adult age is 18. So the question is around having a relationship with an older person, and not just older by a few years, like about 5 years, or 10 years. We're talking about 10 years plus. And we're looking at it from the perspective of a younger woman dating a much older man. And of course, vice versa, a younger man dating a much older woman. And I want to know your perspective about this, because from my perspective, I see it very common with older men and younger women. I hardly see it with older women and younger men, to the extent that I see it the other way. And it's just interesting how that dynamic works. But I want to get your perspective. You could throw in some of your own personal experience. I've had personal experience as well. But, let me hear your thoughts on this, on whether you think, it's not a right or wrong thing, but it's just your general view about it, especially based on your own experience. So who want to kick off the discussion? You guys want to go first?
I'll definitely defer to my sisters. I'll definitely have to let the sisters go first.
Oh, man.
Because I would love to hear what they have to say as well.
Depending on what they say, don't change your answer.
No, I'm not going to change my answer. Even if my position is unpopular, I'm going to stick to it.
Right, good. Make sure you have your story and you stick to it. So,
absolutely.
Right. Marsha, kick me off. Let me go.
Oh, gosh. I don't actually really have a story about dating anyone older. Hasn't really come across my way. I've been on a date with an older man. Yeah, he was literally about maybe 15, 16 years my senior. And for me personally, I found it uncomfortable. I'm going to say it as it is. I found it uncomfortable. I couldn't actually get past the age barrier. Yeah, that was it for me.
Was it a blind date?
No, it wasn't a blind date. No, I knew him, and we were speaking and we were talking, and over the phone, and the rapport's going, and we're getting on, and everything seems fine. But when it came down to it, I just was not comfortable. I just wasn't comfortable. He wanted to hold my hand, and it wasn't in the way that I hold my dad's hand. It was, it couldn't work for me. I felt uncomfortable. I felt, no, I couldn't do it. Yeah.
So
did you feel that same uncomfortability? Did you feel that same uncomfortability when you dated a younger man?
I haven't really dated anyone that much younger either. I've kind of kept it within my ballpark, within my age range. So yeah, I haven't gone for too much younger. I've been approached by younger guys, and that's annoying because no, I don't. I find that annoying. I don't like that. I'm going to struggle with the age gap thing. I'm going to struggle. Me personally, I'm going to struggle on either side, male, female, younger or older.
So you look at the younger boy like a little pick-me or what?
Yes. I mean, some of them don't look like pick-me, but it's when you talk to them, their mentality, their ways.
Yeah,
that's what I can't really take too much, and
yeah.
So
coming back to the older guy, it was a one date and done.
Went 2 dates.
Oh, 2 dates.
Yeah. I tried to be a bit more open-minded, Well, basically, my mom told me to be more open-minded. My mom said, "Go on, try, nice man." I'm like, I did try. I tried.
Can I ask how old were you?
At the time, early 30s.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. And you still felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. That's really interesting. Did he look? You know, his age?
Not really, but it doesn't matter. I know how old he is, so that look,
Yeah.
my mind just took over, and yeah, I couldn't work with it. I know what I'm like. I know how I stay. Once my mind gets into a certain way, that's it for me.
Yeah.
That is it for me. Once my mind says, it really is. Yeah, and it was a no for me.
Oh, what a shame. So Papi didn't really get a chance, you know, he got 2
Happy
days
got no
around.
chance.
Oh.
No.
Oh, that's cool. I see Ida is frozen. And I was really hoping to hear from her. Hopefully she will come back in. Being unfrozen. I mean, from my perspective, you know, having had experience with older men in my early
Can you see
20s.
me?
Yes, are you? Yes, are you? You're here
Can you
now.
see me?
We can see you and hear you. Hello.
Can you hear
Can
me?
you see? Can you hear us?
I don't think so.
No, I think she's still frozen. Still frozen.
I'm still here. I'm here. I'm here. It keeps freezing. You guys keep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. As long as you can hear me and see me.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
You hear and see us?
I don't know. Yep. I can hear you and I can hear you.
Oh, lovely. All right. Well,
Can
I
you
was
hear
coming
me?
to you. I was coming to
Can
you
you guys
next
hear me? I
about
can hear you guys and I can see you clearly.
Okay, cool. Do you want to share?
I can hear you guys. I can see you guys.
What do you think about that? What do you think about the topic,
My
Ida?
experience. Right.
Yeah.
So, yes, I did go out with. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I think an 18-year-old, from a female perspective, an 18-year-old to go out with somebody in 35, I think it's not wise because as 18, you're still gullible in the sense you haven't got life experiences as of such. And as a 35-year-old person, man, they can mold. They can mold you. They can make it not mold you, but they may put you through certain things that you're not ready for, that you're still not strong in your feelings and in your emotions and in your experiences in life. So that can leave some sort of trauma going forward, or might give you some sort of a negative experience, so that you might carry that forward in next relationships. So I think, to me, I dated somebody that was older when I was like 17, and he was 30. He didn't look his age. Far did not look like his age at all. I knew he was about 24, 25. That's what I thought. No, he was big 31 with 3 kids. And we didn't do nothing or anything like that. It wasn't no sexual. It was just on a dating going out. But imagine if I had actually went there, so something told me, to just not do your own little research, which I did. And I found out what I found out. It's fine, but again, I think for me it's a no. There's going to be an age gap. It's got to be if the girl's 18, maybe 24, 6 years max.
Yeah.
Anything of that? Nah. No, I don't agree with it. How would it be if it was a woman? How I think is, how would it be if it was a woman dating an 18-year-old boy?
Yeah. So basically, so if we up the age,
That would be like a cradle snatcher, no?
if we up the age range from, let's not say 18, let's say like about 25.
Can you all hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us? Hello? Can you hear us, Ida?
Oh, I think she's frozen again.
Yeah.
Can you all hear me? You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Are we frozen again?
I think
People keep
we
freezing.
can hear you. We can hear you.
Giselle, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
No, I don't think she can hear us.
No, I don't think so. So technical. We run from Instagram because we was having technical difficulties. And we come onto YouTube and we still having technical difficulties.
Yes.
You know.
Well, let me tell you something. After hearing from the two ladies from London, you guys are gonna make me look like a deviant. No, because the reason why I say that, because I've been on both sides of the spectrum. When I was 17, 18 years old, I dated a couple of women in their 30s. Not one. I dated several women in their 30s. And to me, it was a pleasurable experience. I had no complaints. I think I was overgrown for my age anyway. Thought I was a grown man. You know, my parents did not approve. Let me correct that. My mother did not approve. My father had no objections. But you know, but Trinidadian mother, that woman go suck your youth out. What you do with them old woman? You know. But 18 years old, I'm dating a woman that's 34. I'm like the envy of all my friends. You know, she has her own place. She has her own car, driving me around, taking me out. You know, I had a great time. I have no objections. I mean, at that time, I was in college. I thought I was mature for my age. Now, let's fast forward 20-something years down the line. Right?
Yeah.
Now, for me not know, I'm going on 50. Right? I'll be 50 in 2 years.
Yes.
Right? And ironically, I still have a lot of young women that approach me. Now, I know we can get into the science behind that, maybe because they may assume that I have my ish together. They might assume, okay, he has disposable income. He's always in a carnival. He's always partying. Whatever their motivation is, I can't speak to their motivation. But I can just tell you, in reality, a lot of younger women do try to talk to me. All right?
Yeah.
So now my whole thing, my personal opinion, I don't want a young woman. I only want an older woman that looks young.
Yeah.
Right. So I definitely prefer to date older women. But now, looking at it from a larger perspective, I do not disagree with an older person dating a younger woman or a younger woman dating an older man. Once a person is an adult and we label that person as an adult, then we have to give rights that is bestowed upon adulthood. You can't say you're a half adult, your brain is not developed yet, you're not fully mature. It's either the person is an adult or not. And you can't put limitations on the person. Like in America, 18 years old, you're allowed to join the army, you're allowed to die. So if I'm allowed to die, then I should be allowed to date whoever I want to date. So that's just my perspective, that we can't put limitations on adults. If they're the legal age, then they're the legal age to make their own mistakes as well as make their own happiness. So that's just my personal perspective on that.
Yeah. Now, can everyone still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put in my AirPods because apparently this works really. It looks really.
Did we lose our host? No, I
my
cannot.
AirPods in.
We see you now.
Okay, I think I'm in. Can everyone see and hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, lovely. Right, good. Hopefully this sound is better because I got a comment that I was sounding a bit soft as well.
Okay.
Before I continue, and I come back to you, Zaya, because you touch on some things that scratch my skin there.
Okay.
I just want to introduce Alexis to everyone, Rasta Bobby.
Hey.
Rasta Bobby, we did a round of introductions, obviously. Could you just give a quick introduction about yourself and then we jump back into the conversation?
Yes, of course. First of all, I'm very, very sorry that I'm late. There was a whole heap of drama at the bottom of my road. Police, ambulance, a truck drove into a bridge, all kind of drama. But I am here. So my name is Alexis Alexander. I am the founder of Carnival Concierge UK. I am also a psychotherapist. I am based in London. And I'm here to talk all things hot and saucy.
Too much noise.
I believe that's kind of what we're here for today, right?
That's right.
Hello?
Good, good. Definitely. And I just want to say the chat is lighting up. So everybody in the chat room, welcome. Hello to everybody in the chat room. Hello to Kezian. Hello to Miss P. Hello to Cam King. Hello to Sachel. Hello to everybody, Kenny, everybody in the chat. And basically, the general consensus in the chat is that most people are saying 5 to 6 years older. As the maximum, not more than that. So it's interesting to see people's perspective in the chat. But coming back to you, Zaya, you raised some really important points that really scratched me there, because
Right.
first of all, I think from the man's perspective, you know, as a young male dating an older woman is like you get through. You know, because as you say, you know, your mates.
I get through or she get through?
Well, both all you get through, because she get through.
Because she was proud to show off she young boy, you know. She was well proud to show off.
Well,
exactly.
Her friends used to call her Miss Robinson.
Yes. But you see, the thing about it is, I'm just picking up on what everybody said. From your perspective as a young man, you know, at the age of 18, dating a woman who's 30, you know that seemed okay, because what Ida was saying, and this is something that I experienced as well, when it's the other way around, and tell me if you found this when you were dating a 30-year-old woman, Zaya. But I find most of the times when a younger woman is dating an older man, especially a man that is much older than her and has a lot more experience, and especially if they have children and that sort of thing, it's very easy for that man to manipulate that young woman. You know, and like I was saying, like they try and shape you and mold you. It's very easy for them to manipulate you. You know, and you don't even realize that you're being manipulated, and you don't even realize that your mind is being conditioned in a certain way. But did you find that with your Rasababi, coming to you? Did you find that with your older female partner? Did she try to mold you in any way?
I wouldn't view it as being mold. Of course, she tried to give me advice, but at the same time, you know, did I listen to that advice? Probably not. Did she try to control me and lock me down? Yes, she did. Did it work? No, it did not work. So, you know, even though a person might try or whatever the case may be, you're still going to do what you're still going to do. What I've realized over the years is that you may have some woman that's probably in their early 20s that's very mature for their age. That's probably the eldest one in their family out of their siblings, had to be more responsible, had to take on a greater role, and they act on it. They're very mature. And the flip side of that, I know a lot of my comrades that's in their 40 years old and they act like they're juveniles. So I don't think the issue is age. It's more about experience, maturity, your mentality, and so forth. So it's really finding that compatibility and seeing how mature that person is. I've had conversation with many young people, and I was like, wow, this person is very mature for their age. And then on the flip side of that, I have conversation with many older women, and sometimes I go to the club and I'm like, what is this old? Let me stop. But what is she still doing? So it has nothing. I know I shouldn't say that because I'm the old man in the club too, you know, but I'm just saying though, just because a woman might be up there in age doesn't necessarily mean that she's mature and she have all her stuff together.
true.
No, that is very true. All right, Alexis, jump in.
So obviously I am very late to the party. The point that I'm about to make might have already have been made, so please stop me if it has. But I think for me, I'm just gonna question, if it's about an age gap, why has this age gap been chosen? So for me, it's like, okay, if you are a 50-year-old man or whatever, why are you choosing to date a 21-year-old woman? Equally, if you are a 22-year-old woman, why are you choosing to date a 65-year-old man, etc., etc.? And I feel like if the why is clear, then, you know, it kind of, you know, seen as it's kind of okay. But my worry is always, as you're like, you know, those kind of early ages, 18, 19, 20, whatever, you're just forming, you're working out what you want in life, you're doing certain things, and you're deciding kind of what you want from life. and you've then got this 60 however old or this 50 however old year old, man who is then coming, and in my opinion, usually, possibly whether it's, controversial or not, is it a trophy wife thing? Is it a thing of, I just want somebody who looks good, who, can wear certain clothes, who makes me feel young, etc., etc. But why are they actually in that relationship? There was a meme the other day I saw on Instagram that was basically saying, older men, you need to choose younger women because they're less stressed, they don't really know what they want, and they're easily molded. So for me, concern is the why behind these age gaps. If it's just you happen to fall in love, all right, but actually, are these age gaps? Is there somebody actually actively going out and deciding, I want to find someone younger because they're going to be less hassle? They're not really going to know what they want, so it's going to be easier for me to deal with them. And that, to me, that's what my concern is about age gaps.
Yeah. I think it's multifaceted because,
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead, Zaya.
But one of the things I say, one of the number one criteria in dating someone is not necessarily your interest and not necessarily your likes. It's proximity. People date who's in proximity to them. People who you meet, who you interact with. Now, as a person that's into the nightlife, that's into the music, that's into the promotion, I'm going to meet a lot of younger people. So I'm surrounded by younger people. For whatever reason, like I said, some people might be attracted, some women might be attracted to the limelight, some women might be attracted to stability, whatever speaks to their motivation, I cannot speak on that behalf. But in my perspective, you tend to date who's around you in your proximity. And that's one of the reasons why I've probably been in my situation that I've been in.
But do you think that's also a question as well, though? So for example, obviously, again, I've missed the beginning bits, but like, if you are a 50-something-year-old man and you are consistently dating 18 to 22-year-olds, is there not some form of question about why are you consistently in proximity to 18 to 22-year-olds if you're 50 plus?
Because this is where we make the money from. As far as carnival, as far as mass, as far as playing the costumes, as far as what we do in the nightlife, is the young people who's going to party on a Tuesday night. Is the young people who's going to party on a Wednesday night. Because most of the older people have responsibilities.
18 to 20?
18 to 20, no. Remember, before you came on, I said, I wouldn't date a young woman. I said I'd rather date an older woman who simply look young. So let's just put that disclaimer out there. I'm just saying, as far as the attraction, as far as a woman who would give me her number, who would reach out to me, who would slide up in my DM. Yes, a lot of younger women have approached me and slide up in my DM.
But do you think that makes you feel nice?
Of course it makes me feel good. We all feel good to be attracted and to be suited and to be pursued. Absolutely.
But I guess I'm thinking if we're thinking about the age dynamic, I'm thinking, do you think there's something about, so from a male-female perspective, I know, for example, if a younger man approaches me, I don't necessarily feel good about that, if that makes sense. But I feel like when we flip it, I feel like if a younger woman approaches an older man, I feel like an older man feels good.
But the question is, why would you feel bad if somebody pursue you? Whether he's 40, 30, 20, is nothing to feel bad about.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is not bad, but I'm talking about it's relative, isn't it? So I'm saying if like so I'm 36. If like a 18-year-old boy tries to move me, or a 20-something-year-old boy tries to move me, I don't necessarily feel like, ooh, I've still got it type thing. I just feel like you're 20-something, still kick back. While I feel like, if you flip it, I feel like if a younger girl approaches an older man, I feel, and this might be a generalization, again, it's part of this. I feel like if a younger woman approaches an older man, I feel like an older man feels like, hey, like, whoo, I still got something.
You still have it.
Yeah.
But
you still have
I feel like
but
that when any woman approach me, irrespective of age.
I want to put two things in the mix here, guys. Two things I want to put in the mix. The first one in the mix is when it comes to, the intimacy part of the relationship when it's older. Because one of the things that I've heard is that the reason why younger people date older people is because older people have more experience when it comes to intimacy, right? And therefore they tend to learn things, and that goes on both sides of the fence for male and female. So that's one perspective in terms of
Zaya,
being
you're
able
young
to,
at heart, I guess. Yes. So you're.
I'm very young at heart. Only at heart, though.
So that's one thing, you know, that intimacy nature of it. And then the second thing that I just want to point out is that we had a comment where you know, one of our viewers was saying that her father was 17 years older than her mom. And I was in a relationship where the guy I was dating was 17 years older than me. And you know, the thing about it is, if it is that you're really in love and you're in that relationship, as you get older, you know, your husband is therefore much older than you. And that in itself pitches up problems, because as a female, when you're in your prime in your 40s and your husband is therefore hitting 60, you know, he's past his prime, even though men still stay sexually active, you know, but their outlook on life is different as to you in your 40s. So therefore, that whole dynamic, you know, in terms of the relationship comes into question, and therefore that in itself could picture problems, you know. But I just you know, want to get your views on in terms of the sexual nature of it, because let's be honest, you know, I've heard people talk about it, and from my own experiences as well, dating older men, they are more experienced than you, and they teach you things, you know. As a young woman, they teach you things when it comes to that, you know. So it's like that could be one of the reasons why people get into these relationships. Of course, financially is another thing, because if your partner is financially secure, which you tend to be later on in life, unless you're a genius and you're making money from young, that also is a factor. Because if you, something as I said, if you are mature for your age, you know, then you want a partner that is mature and on your level of thinking, because you're not going to go with somebody who, you know, just not on your level. And sometimes you tend to find that with an older partner, you know, that older person is more mature in their thinking, they're more settled in life, and they just have more to offer you intellectually as well, on some occasions, not all the time, but they able to offer you a lot more than somebody younger than you or somebody your own age. I know what you think about that. Ida?
I think she's frozen again.
Hey, Ida's frozen again.
She's
again.
She's blinking.
She's blinking.
Oh, she's frozen on my screen.
Sorry. So I guess what you were saying. So in terms of like from an intimacy and a sexual perspective.
Yeah, from a sexual, from an economic, financial perspective, intellectual perspective.
Yeah, I think I feel like there's generalizations that we make about age. In terms of, in terms of, you know, there could be somebody, I know for a fact that there are probably, you know, men younger than me that are in better financial positions than me. Equally, men older than me that are in worse financial positions than me. So I think there's that, you know, there is that generalization as age means you've got your things together and you know, you've got your house, you got your car, you got your whatever. But I think definitely from a sexual perspective, I would find it very hard to believe, other than possibly longevity. I don't understand what a young man is really gonna give me at my tender age. I don't know. I don't know.
I think Giselle was onto something. I definitely, not just because I'm an older gentleman myself, but I definitely think that older gentlemen make better lovers. It's a fact. We have more experience. We've been around the block. We know what tend to work and what not work. And at my age, I don't rush anything. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to do it right. We're going to slow it down and make it last. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm just, from my perspective, because I know I ain't got the 3-4 rounds like how I used to have when I was 25.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? So I got to take my time. I got to do this right. I got to pay attention to the details. I got to warm it up and make sure this thing is done properly. And that's just my perspective.
Boom,
I guess
bang.
women kind of appreciate that.
Boom bang.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's,
Because I'm real with
yeah.
myself. I know
100%.
I ain't got the 3-4 rounds in a night.
100%.
So I gotta give you one good one. On a good night, maybe a second one, but you're definitely gonna get one good one.
Champion, yes.
That's
So
what
we're
we're
dealing
talking
with
about.
quality
That's what we're
over
talking about.
quantity.
And that's the
Absolutely,
thing.
quality.
But
Yeah,
then,
it's quality. Quality
Exactly.
over quantity.
but then also,
Definitely.
but then also from an age perspective, as a woman. So, for example, when a woman is younger, and I definitely know for myself, when I was younger, I definitely was not in the same position to ask for what I wanted as I am now. So when you're, you know, when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever, first working out what you like sexually, what you want done, what you will and will not do, actually, if you've got these, this is what, again, I think this is what my concern is like from this molding perspective, because there's enough big, old, hardback man that are just set in their ways, flinging out dead movements.
I knew you were going to say that.
Basically, because they're 50 plus, they're like, well, boy, this is what I've been flinging out for the past 20, 25 years. So take it or make it move. Like,
No.
But on the flip side of that, in defense of the fellas now, there have been many times where I've dated more mature women. And I'm tired of hearing, listen. My leg don't bend that far back. Listen.
Oh my
You
God.
ain't gonna be doing this to me. Listen. Slow down. Understand what I'm saying? So come on now. It got
My
to be
knees.
two sides, you know.
my
Yes,
knees,
exactly, my knees.
my knees
You know,
can't take it.
Oh, no.
Let's try another position. These knees are hurting me. Come on. I had a long day at work. Listen, don't mess up my hair. I just came. You know, young girls don't give a damn about their hair. They don't give a damn about their legs, their knees. You mess with a more mature woman, the first thing you say, listen, we got to do this quick because I have work in the morning. I don't want to hear about work
No,
in
we're
the
not that.
morning.
That's bad. No, you can't say that. That's bad. No. You're not going out with an old woman like that. Not having that.
Listen.
No.
All I'm saying, you know,
My
you
legs
go
are all right,
do
my
your
knees are good.
stretching and do your exercising before you go
Yeah,
out
because
on
my
a
legs
date.
are all
That's
right and my knees are good.
You see?
Yeah. There you go. My knees are good.
Are you the norm or are you the exception, though?
But then I think this is but then this, to be fair, when you really think about it though, across the board, I think this is again what the problem is that there's just this sense of generalization. So like when we're thinking about, you know, okay, cool, age gaps, young, old, is it okay? Is it not okay? I guess the fact of the matter still remains that it's about actually what is happening within that relationship. Is it a power play? Is it a dynamic thing? Is it a I have no dad or I have no mum? So is it a power play? You know what I mean? There's so many bits to think before actually is it okay? Is it not okay?
That's how I feel about dating a younger man. I feel like I'm a mother figure. I don't like
right
it.
or wrong thing. You know, and just picking up on some of the comments from our viewers. You know, one person was saying the absence of a father figure, you know, from a young age could drive women to date older men. Somebody else say that, you know, in terms of experience, if you're dating an older man for the experience, once you get the experience, then press on, you know, because obviously later on you're gonna encounter problems. And then another person was saying, well, it just depends on, you know, the individual, which is true as well, because everybody's circumstance is different, you know, their environment is different. So therefore their mindset will be shaped according to their experiences and their environment. So, you know, we're not generalizing it and putting a big plaster on everything. I was really interested from the sexual nature of it, and I really like what I said, because from my own experience as well, the older men tend to, when it comes to that, have a way about that is, you know, it's not a wham bam thank you ma'am kind of thing. And if it's a wham bam thank you ma'am, then, you know, it's not, you know, sometimes you just don't want that kind of attitude. You want something a bit more, you know, smooth like a Baileys. You know, not all the time you go want a hard, what do you call it, a hard vodka or something on the rock. Sometimes you want something nice and smooth, like a Bailey's that go down silky, and it don't burn your throat as it going down. It's just nice and slow like a Bailey's. So I'm talking about drinking a Bailey's, okay? That's what I'm talking about, Bailey's. But sometimes you don't want the rush kind of stuff, you know what I mean?
Well, I consider myself one of them rum punch. When you taste it, you say, this ain't really doing much. Before you know it, you're drunk at the table, But that is me.
Exactly. You can't stand up, your legs all wobbly.
Exactly, absolutely.
Your
you
legs
rum
all
punch was
wobbly.
sweet.
It's like exactly. It's like a rum punch, and nobody let me say that.
Exactly.
It's like a rum punch. Definitely like a rum punch. Well, I think thanks everyone for all your comments on this. And somebody say you're feeling for Bailey's now.
The funny thing is, young people don't even drink Bailey's no more. You can walk in a club and know who asks for Bailey's. It's always going to be like the older woman that asks for Bailey's, as opposed to the young people that want the Casamigos now and so forth, or the Moet Rosé. I don't even think they really sell Bailey's in the club anymore. Yeah, but at least in New York. I can't speak for London, but in New York.
Yeah. For me, I like a little Bailey's. I'm not a hard drinker, I'll take a little rum punch now and again, but I like it smooth. And, I am not into the one bam, thank you, ma'am kind of thing. So, yeah, give me a Bailey's any day. But just wrapping up now with everybody, I just like, whee! With this kind of thing, we could talk about this for ages. But it brings me nicely on to the next topic, because following on from this, in terms of age gap and stuff, what about relationships? If you enter into a relationship where your partner has children, or has a child, is it something that you would want to get into? Is it different? Is the dynamics different for a woman dating a man who have kids? And is it different from man dating a woman who have kids? And just to start off this, I just want to put this little preamble. And somebody mentioned this in the comments with the topic we were talking about just now. I remember I was dating a guy, and this is the other thing. Some people lie about the age, and fellas that have fellas who lie about the age, number one. I mean, there are probably women who lie about the age too. But I was dating this guy who lied about his age. I felt he was older than me. Actually, it was my mother who pointed it out to me. But he also had children, and he lied about that too. I didn't know until I found out afterwards that he had children, and the thing about it is, why lie? Why do some people lie about having children or having a child? Why is it? Do you think that is because it's going to put the other person off? That, they think that you have baggage? Why is it that people do that? And from your perspective, if you get into a relationship with someone who has a child or children, will that put you off? Would you be accepting of somebody else's child or children? How does that then shape the whole dynamics of the relationship? And if that person isn't upfront with you and honest with you from the beginning and tell you that, and you then find out later on, what does that then do to the relationship? So it's a lot of things that are true out there in the preamble. But this is a really touchy subject, because it's happening. This is a real thing. With people obviously carrying children from previous relationships and the new ones. Who wants to give their thoughts on that? Yeah, go on, Ada.
Prior to having my daughter, I would have said, yeah, nah, drama, baby mama drama. I don't really want to date nobody that has got children. No, I would shy away from them. I would really shy away from them. Mm-hmm. But now that I have my daughter, even till now, I would say if I'm going to date somebody, it'd be like 2 kids, no more than that, purely because I don't want the extra drama. I don't want the drama. So I don't have the drama for me, but I know that I wouldn't know that, but he may have drama. So I wouldn't want that 3, 4, 5 baby mamas, and that would be a headache. That would be fighting. If they're not co-parenting, you know,
Mm.
in a nice way. Academic, but otherwise than that, no. I mean, no.
So
I don't know.
is it that you're making that assumption? You're making that assumption from the beginning. So you say that you don't want that drama. Would you enter into the relationship and then if drama presents itself, then kind of say, actually, this is not working out for me? Or do you say just from the get-go, you meet
Okay,
somebody and
so
they tell you they have 2 kids and you're like, you know what?
let me make this clear. Okay, so before having my child, I had friends that got into relationships that had the extra, either had children and there were still unresolved issues within that previous relationship, so they kind of spilled out. So when the man was dating outside, so it's gone completely. So he's dating now. The baby mother's still not happy because there were still unresolved issues. So that would step in. So I would see my friends go through that. So I didn't like it. I was like, no way, no, hell no. But now that I'm a mother and I've become a single parent, not by choice, but I'm now in that position, I'm also choosing who I have around me and what environment I'm bringing up the child also, and also the relationship that I'm going to get in with that person. Do they co-parent, in a nice way? Are they having a good relationship? I want to be able to get into that kind of zone where I know that we all bring our children together peacefully. But I think if you have, to me, and seen people that have more than 3 baby mothers, the kind of mess that it creates. And I just don't want to be in that mess for me. That's my personal choice.
Understood.
But
yeah,
I can understand now. Somebody could look at me. I've had people say, "Oh, you've got a child." Okay. I've been out on a date where, I've said I've got a child and I've not heard from them. And that is okay, that's fine. But I understand now. I understand it. It's like, oh, she might have drama behind it, or she might have, even though if you say, well, I haven't got that issue, I'm living a peaceful, raising my child peacefully, everything is according. No, there's still people that say, no, I don't want that. But there's people also that say, I don't mind. I'll take that on.
I'm one of those persons.
There you go. See? Right.
I'll consider it.
See?
I'm one of those person. I have no objection against kids. Let me just throw this out there. Any man who denies his kids and meet a woman and try to hide his kids and say you don't have kids is a piece of shit. Is a person that you don't want to know. If you find out that a man lied about his kids, the bottom line, you shouldn't don't even entertain it anymore. Cut him off. I'll be the first one to say, cut it off. If you're going to lie about your own kids, there's nothing that you cannot lie about. You understand? I mean, you should be proud to show off your kids. You should be proud to brag about your kids. Pull out the pictures and show your son or your daughter. And on the first day, this is my lovely son or whatever the case would be. And if you can't do that, you definitely have some issues in regards to that. I've dated women with kids in the past. I have no objections to it. I understand from the get-go that it is a package. You can't have one without the other. And I think if you're dating a woman in her upper 20s or in her upper 30s, I mean, I will automatically assume you have kids. In fact, I'm more surprised when I meet a woman who does not have kids. So it's not no hang up for me. It's not no issue for me. I automatically assume. And I know that if I'm going to take her out or whatever the case may be, I'm always going to offer, hey, well, what did your son eat today? Or what are they going to eat? Would he like this when we come back? Or whatever the case may be, or dessert or whatever. But I'm always mindful of that child because it is a package and you can't separate that, nor should you try.
Well, probably sometimes he might be concealing it if he have plenty baby mamas.
He could try, but
and
he's still a piece
this is
of
why
shit.
He's not old enough to...
Let me tell you, my brother, my brother has 4 baby mothers. So I'm in the family there. I know how it is. All my I'm from Trinidadian backgrounds. I grew up where my uncle have 3 different sets of families. This uncle have 2 different sets of families. My oldest brother and my half sister are 2 months apart. So I know the dynamics of it, how it can go down. But I think the bottom line about it, your kids you don't hide. You know, your kids is your pride and joy, and you should always be happy to show them off and not hide them. Says a lot about a man character if he would hide his kids for what? For sex? To meet a new woman? Come on now, you're a fool.
But there
No,
are men that do desire.
I wish we had. I wish we had a younger man, because obviously, Zaya, you are mature in your thinking.
Yeah,
I would like to hear the perspective of a 20-something-year-old man.
They're trying to
on
smash.
this
That's what it
issue
is.
as
That's
well.
what it is. So they're gonna say what they have to say until they smash. I hang around a lot of 20-something-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean,
because they
I feel like
they wouldn't think like that.
I feel like younger men. And this is completely an assumption, but I feel like younger men possibly wouldn't share it because they, at that point in time, possibly don't believe it matters. So, for example, if they're coming to link you, it don't matter if they got kids or not. They could have 9. They just come in to lay down and go about their business. So it doesn't matter how many children they have. So actually, I don't necessarily think it fully equates to if they deny their children their waist. I think it for actually, no, I'm not even going to say just younger men. I think men in general. I think if they don't tell you, I think it could possibly be because they're waste. But I think it could also be it just says what they're coming for. Because I know, okay, so for example, I'm 36, I said at the beginning, I don't currently have children, but there are definitely certain aspects of my life that depending on what I'm deciding to do with you, I'm going to share more or less. So for example, if a man has got 3 baby mothers, none of these babies live with him, he see these babies once a month on every other Wednesday, why is he going to get into a conversation with a woman that he just intends to lie down with about these babies? And this is what I mean by it. I think it's about like intent. So, you know, am I looking to marry you? Am I looking to date you? Am I looking to just have sex with you? What am I actually looking to bring to this table?
But let me clarify that point, though. To clarify the point, if a man remains silent about his child, it's one thing. But if you ask me if I have a child and I intentionally lie about it, that's
no, that's very different. That's very different.
I can understand remaining silent. Okay, we don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation when we're just dating or we're just meeting. But it's another thing to say, I don't have no kids and you got 3 baby mamas. No,
definitely.
Unacceptable.
But then equally, I think, like, from women's perspective, I think women across the spectrum do different levels of questioning when they're dating somebody.
True.
So I am definitely what like I'm in there. I'm asking this, I'm asking that, blah, 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 blah. Well, there are some women that would see my approach as quite interrogative or would see my approach as quite forceful. And they would be like, oh, well, they're waiting for the man to give them the information because they don't want to seem forceful, etc., etc. Right. And I feel like there's a couple men that would be like, well, boy, she didn't ask me, innit? So, like,
wow. No, I'm good for that.
But
if you don't
just
ask
to throw
me
into the mix as
well, give the answers out.
Yeah,
no, I said I'm one of those individuals. If you don't ask me specific questions, I'm not freely going to divulge this information to you.
See?
Maybe in time when I get a chance to trust you more. I'm a Virgo. Just to put that out, I don't know if it really has much, but I'm a Virgo. Meaning I would open up. I'm crazy with you. I'll be honest with you, but only when I know you and feel comfortable around you. Yeah. So most of the time, if you don't ask me certain questions, I'm not going to tell you about my past. I'm not going to tell you about the people I've dated. I probably dated one of your friends, and I'm not going to mention it. You know, if your friend didn't mention it to you, I'm not going to mention it to you.
Wow.
Now, if you ask me did I date her, then of course I would reveal. I'm going to be honest with you.
Right. And I think this is the thing. I think this is what I mean by like actually then if we're not asked, so again, like as women or whatever, I think that if we flip it, I think there are times in terms of women with children that I think women sometimes have other things, like they think about other things when telling if they have children or not. So for example, I've got a lot of friends like who are on dating apps and stuff like that. Or like, you know, who are you telling? Who is this man that you are telling that you have children? What information are you divulging about you as a woman to the man that you've just met for 5 seconds? And I think, unfortunately, that is something that women, I think about probably a lot more than the men do. So, like, you know,
I would ask.
Yeah.
I've got a child. When I was younger, though, say late teens, early 20s, I'm definitely asking, basically because I had it in my head that I don't want to be with anyone else that's got a child. I want to be the first person to have a child with them. That was just me.
Yeah.
What I had in my head. Obviously, grown up or older, I expect people to have had a past. I expect you to have had relationships. So now, you know what I mean, in my 40s, I'm expecting you to say, yeah, you have got children. You know, if you know, I'm not going to think, oh, no, he's got a child. I can't talk to him. I would expect it. I think I'd be more shocked if he said, no, he didn't. Or he hasn't been in a long-term relationship. That for me, not so much the children, but not being in a long-term relationship would be a red flag for me, because I'd be saying like, well, why nobody want you? You know, why have you not been in a, you know? So that's for me would be a red flag.
Yeah.
But definitely having children, I'd have to ask. I want to know what kind of man you are. Like Zai said, I want to know. Don't deny your children.
But on the flip side of that, sometimes women don't ask questions because they don't want that hard answer, because then it's going to force them to have to make a decision. So ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Yeah, that is true. Especially early on in the relationship. I just want to put two things in the mix here, guys. The first one is just touching on a point that Zaya said around growing up in an environment where your uncles and your brothers and, you know, the members of your family have multiple children with multiple women. And in the Caribbean, certainly we know in the Caribbean that is not uncommon. That is very common. And I'm going to be a little bit controversial here and talk about Jamaica, for example, and Jamaican men having loads of baby mamas, you know, big up to all the Jamaicans. But my experience has been a lot of Jamaican men, a lot of Trini men as well, have a lot of different baby mamas. And you know, for Jamaican men that I have interacted with, it seems like a badge of honor. You understand, to have picnic all over the place, because to me it's like their male prowess. The more women that you have with more children is the more you know, macho or the more manly that you have to spread your seed all over the place. That's one thing. And the other thing I just want to put in the mix as well is, do you think it is harder for an older woman with children to be able to settle down with a man who doesn't have any children? And when I say an older woman, I'm talking about a woman in her 40s who has 1+ children. Yes, so if she has two, if she has about 2 or more, do you think it is more difficult for her to find a partner to settle down with her? Anybody could answer the question, and anybody in the comments as well.
How old are the children? Are the children old enough? Like, are they like secondary, going uni, or are they
No, not uni. The children are from secondary to primary school age.
Children.
So I would say like from year 10, proper children. So like from year 10 to primary school level. Do you think it is more difficult for that woman to be able to find a partner who is willing to stand up with her and those children, especially at that age? If they're in uni, then they're big people. You don't have to worry about you and fine. But when the children are younger, and when they need that father figure and they need that intervention and they need that, do you think she will be able to find that, especially within her 40s? And I'm talking about 40 plus. We say from about, 42, 43 onwards. What do you think? I'm just looking at some of the comments here as well.
I would mind this, and this is literally this is literally an assumption. I would assume it's harder simply because of what society does to women to have children. What society does to women who have children and what society does to men who have children. So women that have children, as they get older, they depreciate in their value. Men who have children don't necessarily depreciate in their value as they get older. They're just still able to run around and do whatever they're doing and be cool. While unfortunately, society kind of makes us feel that the older you get as a woman with children, you're more trouble, you're probably set in your ways, you're probably this, you're probably that. So I would assume that it is probably harder. I wouldn't say impossible, because I think everything is possible. But I would say that it's definitely harder in terms of, if it was like a 50-year-old man with young children and then a 50-year-old woman with young children, I think the woman would find it harder.
Yes, yeah.
But let me hear from a male perspective.
People are in agreement with your comments.
Yeah.
Yes,
from a male perspective, because maybe it's old school, but I factor things in from a financial perspective. I'm not going to go out a woman and have her pay anything for me. No, I don't do that. If I invite you out on a date, I'm definitely paying for everything. It's just old school. So, and I meet a woman with kids, and let's say she have 3 kids, and automatically in my mind, I'm thinking, wow, that's 3 Happy Meals. That's 3 pair of Jordans. That's 3 backpacks. Keep in mind, she may not ask me for anything, but I would feel less of a man if I'm not contributing to the household or contributing to the kids. Even though I'm dating the mother and I know the kids may not be my responsibility, I still feel kind of obligated and committed because of societal roles and expectation that men are supposed to provide. Very rare would a woman enter a relationship with a man with kids and think about the money that she's going to have to pay for these kids. But men know internally and mentally that if I date this woman, some form or fashion, I'm going to have to take care of these 3 kids somehow.
But then women are also likely to think about the emotional impact on them. So for example,
yes.
Yeah, and the nurturing aspect.
So like I said, in an ideal world for me, I'm like you, Marsha. In an ideal world, like I'm still in that place where I'm looking for the unicorn. Let me find one man with no picnic. Because ideally, I would like us to have our first children together. Praise Jah. However, we don't know. Okay, so I would still be going into something with a man that had children and thinking, rah, this is stepmother vibes to 4 picnic. Like, yes, I know they have their mother/mothers, but I'm still thinking in my head, maybe not monetary, but I'm still thinking, I gotta get these kids gift every Christmas. When me and their papa go on holiday to the Maldives, I might have to take them. I might so I think the woman still has something to kind of think about, even though it may not be monetary.
Yeah, it's a different set of pattern. I got with someone after I had my daughter. I married a man, he had children previously, and I automatically became their stepmother. So even though I may not have contributed financially, like on a regular basis, except for like birthdays and gifts, emotionally nurturing, even with homework, schooling, sometimes the dynamics of the relationship, sometimes they may feel, they don't want to upset their mom, but they really want to come over because they like spending time with their dad and they like being here. So they're going through their own battles. So me as a stepmom trying to sort out and balance how they cope emotionally. That's why I think a lot of women step in from that point of view. So maybe not from a financial point of view, but definitely emotionally and nurturing, cooking, cleaning, children's entertainment, taking them out. We're the ones that do the parties. We're the ones that will go and do all the extracurricular activities. That's what I've seen. That's what I lived, should I say.
Yeah. And can I just put one more thing in the mix, just to throw something else in the mix? Do you think that women are more accepting of men with children than men are of women? Because the reason why I ask that is because from my own experience, I've seen where a woman will be with a man, either her partner or her husband or her boyfriend or whatever the case might be, and he has kids, and she would be accepting of those children, as you say, Marsha, will contribute to their emotional development, their health and well-being. She would take them into the fold as her own and look after them. You know, even though there might be drama, because with some women, you know, it have drama with the baby mamas and stuff, but the woman will look at the needs of the child, and therefore that nurturing feeling will come out, and they would look after the child and try and, you know, deal with the drama on a level. So do you think women are more accepting than men are? Now I appreciate Zaya, you're a mature man, you know, and of course your perspective is very, very mature on this topic. But from what I have seen, you know, I personally think that women, from my own experiences, tend to be generally more accepting of men with children than men are of women with children. Just because I think the testosterone thing that's getting
No, that is true. That is true.
I think women, I'm so sorry. I think women, society has told us we have to.
Yeah, we are socialized.
As men, if men don't accept, okay, because they're men. But if women don't accept, we're waste. It's like, you know, well, why would you not? You know, it's almost like, okay, cool. Like, we have been told, listen, if you get to a certain age, expect the man to have pick me and because you ain't gonna find nobody else. While men are still sold this dream that they could probably find women that don't have children yet, or men are given such, from a societal perspective, men are given such a broader wealth of like time to find, you know, whether it's the mother of their wife, their whatever. While pretty much by the time you hit around 26, 27 as women, you're basically told, boy, start to settle, you know, because you know the man's gonna have children and you're gonna have to take on his, and you're gonna have to. So I don't think it's necessarily that women are more accepting. I just feel like we kind of have to be, otherwise we'll be made out to look.
And don't forget the biological clock that women have to face. That, you know, like by the time, you know, I remember when I was 21, my gran saying at my birthday party, saying, yes, any potential suitors, nice, young. I'm looking at my gran like to say, like, I'm 21, give me a chance. You know, I can find someone on my own. You don't have to try and marry me off. And she's like saying, but I want great grandchildren. What are you going to grow old and be barren? I was like, I'm 21, give me a chance, you know? So I don't know, but yes, different society. Biological clocks, basically they say the woman, by the time you reach 30, you're technically too old. You know, your body is kind of old to have children. I don't actually believe that, but that's what science and medicine drummed into our heads for decades. So yeah.
Well, there have been women that have defied that.
Yes.
That's so-called science.
But I think one of the reasons why men, I'm sorry, but I was just saying one of the reasons why men don't really want to enter relationships or accepting of women with kids. I'm from the hood. I'm just putting it out there. Where I'm from in Brooklyn, I'm from the hood. And where I'm from in Trinidad, it's a rough neighborhood in Trinidad as well, too. So there's a lot of machismo that comes into it. Like a lion can't live with another lion and take care of his kids. It's not going to happen. So the potentiality of beef or the potentiality of problem or the potentiality of drama. Say, listen, man, I don't want to have no problems with this kid because I'm going to have to clap this dude because he think I'm trying to raise up his kids or I'm trying to discipline his kids, and I don't want no problems. I had a problem in the past with a girl with a crazy baby father, and I'm not trying to deal with it again. And most of the time, you woman, you know your baby father's kind of crazy. You should let your new partner know about your crazy baby father and stop keeping that a secret. Because most men will be like, you know, I don't want to deal with a woman and I got to deal with the drama of her ex-con baby father or her abusive baby father. That's why she's trying to run from him. And now I got to be the protector and everything. Not that I'm running away from being a protector, but if you could avoid a problem and see a problem coming before it develops, avoid it. It's only common sense. So most of the time, most men would be like, listen, I don't want to deal with no woman, not because of the kids, love her, but I can't deal with the baby daddy drama where he want to ring the doorbell at 2 a.m. talking about he just want to check on his kids. Nah, man, you can't come here 2 a.m. to look at your kids.
No, that's messy. That's messy stuff. That's messy.
It happens though. It's reality.
Well, it's reality, but that's messy. And I can't deal with them kind of things. Like, so if you've got children, previous relationship. Listen, that dynamic normally exists because either they've still been kind of fooling around before
They
you
allow it.
in a relationship, or people feel entitled. They feel that it's their right to go back
Absolutely.
whenever they see. I can't work with that. You
And
see.
most
If you
Caribbean
over,
men feel entitled.
yes,
Once I have a child with you, it's like once mine, always mine.
Exactly.
There'll
So a lot
always
of
be that
Caribbean men in our
connection.
circle, they feel like that.
But then
but
the thing
some people haven't got a connection. Some people literally just wham bam hit and got pregnant. They haven't had a relationship.
But it's that hold on that person, isn't it? It's that I control this situation. I want to
Yeah.
see. You can't move from here. Why are you moving off? Because I'm not done with you, so you can't be done with me. That's that whole control thing where they can be ringing your doorbell at 2:00 in the morning to say, "I'm coming to check the child." Really?
2:00 in the morning.
It is
It
a control
happens,
thing.
Marsha. It happens.
And
But
it happens a lot. It happens a lot.
People unfortunately use the children as weapons, don't they? And this is something that really, really saddens me. Whereby, and I've seen it on both sides of the coin, where the man as well as the woman has used the children as weapons in that relationship to cause hurt to the other person. And it is wrong. I'm sorry. I'm saying it's bloody wrong. It's unfair and it's wrong. Because the child should not be used as a weapon in that relationship. You have to be adult enough to handle your shit yourself. You understand? And leave the children or the child out of it. You know, but that's some important things that you ladies have said in terms of the biological clock and how society views women and how and it still happens. You know, that sort of thing still exists today, even though you know, the world has moved on a bit, but it still exists. You know, and women have defied that. I mean, Janet Jackson had her first child. Oh, she was 50 or something. Naomi Campbell has just had a child.
Oh yeah, she just had one as well.
You know, I mean, they've broken the record. I knew of 47, but then they broke 50. And I think I saw a white lady who had a child at 60, I believe. You know, she had a child at 60 or something like that. She was pretty, you know, mature. I don't say old, she was mature. You know, so there are women breaking that scientific thinking or stereotypes. So it could definitely can't be true if women are having children in their 50s and 60s, you know. But in terms of the question around is society more accepting, I think there's a resounding consensus among everybody that is, you know, that is the norm, from everyone in the chat as well. Really agreeing with that and agreeing with your points as well, Rasta Babi. And I just want to take this time to just make a quick shout out to everybody who is in the chat and posting up their comments. You know, hi to Kezian and Michelle and to Nai as well as Shanice. And who else is there? There's a guy called Kenny as well. You know, hi to everyone, and keep those comments coming in and keep participating in the conversation. You know, and I just think that as a society, we need to have a little bit of a shift in our mindset in terms of the way of how ageism affects women and affects women more negatively than it does men. You know, and we see that happening all over. I mean, in the media, for example, you know, you would see men in the media well into their 60s and 70s, but you hardly ever see women. And I was watching something the other day, which I sat up and I took notice because I was like, you know what, this is actually true. And it was around something as simple as gray hair. And what they were talking about is that when you get gray hair, men getting gray hair, they're referred to as silver foxes. You know, it's still looked upon as sexy. You know, they're still glamorized with the gray hair. But a woman with her gray hair, yes, exactly. But a woman with gray hair is frowned upon because she look like she old. You know, why she has herself looking so, you know, and it's like you feel like you need to, you know, color your hair so that at least you have concealed grays. And a lot of older women, especially in media as well, say that they feel pressurized, you know, to color their hair, to hide the grays, because it's not celebrated like how we're celebrated for men. So we still have a long way to go in society when it comes to ageism, especially with women and how women are treated really, really unfairly in that respect. Just before we move on to the last topic for tonight, closing comments from anybody on anything that we discussed so far? Okay, cool. Somebody was saying the lady who had her child at 60, she said, wow, she had her grandkids. That is very mean. That is mean, okay? Very, very mean. And no, it's not a given that she might be dead when they are, by the time they are teens. That's very harsh, okay? But that is a good point, though, because somebody, Keziana just said in the comments, you know, she's going to be really old or dead by the time they are teens. I honestly think that's wickedness to the poor kids, man, to be having them so old. But each its own, I guess.
Mm.
You know, that's an interesting perspective. You know, again, is that part of the conditioning of society? Because, you know, society has told us that our life expectancy is going to be this age. So if it is society has told us that our life expectancy as a woman is going to be 80, therefore, is it unfair to have a child at 60? You know, again, that is that whole ageism thinking, isn't it? You know, time, for me, I believe time is man-made. You know, time is a man-made constraint. So if it is that you are going along the man-made continuum of time, then of course you're gonna think, well, it's unfair to have a child at 60. But what if you live to 90 or 100? You know, that child is gonna be 40 by the time you reach 100. And people are living, so we have a lot of centurions around, you know. So is it really unfair to have a child at 60? You know?
And also, I just feel like just live your life, innit? Like at the end of the day, you could have a child at 20 and then something really awful could happen and you could pass and your children would be left with no parents. Equally, you could have a child at 60 and you could end up living till 100. Like, I just think it's my womb and whatever I want to do with it is my business. And I've got so many other people that are saying, think about this, think about that, da 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 da. By the time you're this age, it's a geriatric pregnancy. You got to be careful. Just have the pick-me in it and just try your best.
In Western society, there's a time limit for us, isn't it? We have a time limit for in this society. Like in Western society, we have a time limit. Like you said, Marsha, your biological clock, your, you know, the gray hair. Oh my God, like that's it. You can't have it. You know, you're old. You get to an expiry date, and I guess there's like a calendar for expiry date for a woman. Whereas in some Asian cultures and in some African cultures, also in some African stuff, there are women that actually, if they can bear, they continue to bear. Yeah. It's not frowned upon. It's only the Western culture that has made us think like, oh, time. You know, you get to a certain age, you got this, you got to do this, and at a certain age, you got to do that. You know, by this age, you got to do that. By that time, oh, you're 40. Clock. You go to the doctors, they actually tell you, you know, it's going to be very hard for you to conceive. Yeah. They put that in your head. Yep. Yeah, so you get to 40, 41, so you haven't found your partner. You go to your doctors just for like, well, you know, if you say, I'm feeling, it could be your menopause. You've now reached a certain age. It could be your menopause. That's the first thing they say. They don't think about anything else. They're just straight menopause. So to me, I think it's a more westernized or kind of way of thinking that we've kind of been indoctrinated into us. Definitely. You know, because in other cultures, women, if they can bear fruit, continue, irrespective of what age. Whether I agree with it, I don't know.
Yeah. That's cool. All right, and just moving on finally.
I think a part of liberation in.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
No, go ahead, Daya. Before we.
No, I was just saying, being part of that liberation, we have to realize that we have to liberate ourselves from Western ideology as well, and those concepts that hinder us, you know, and dehumanizes us in the long run. So that's just a part of saying, you know, what is their standard of acceptable, and yes, definitely have to liberate our mentality from that.
Yeah, definitely. So we're moving on to the last topic, because when we get into the Kakahula week, I think we could go to tongue on the Kakahula week, and that is something that definitely scratched my skin as well. And we might actually need to discuss the Kakahole in the next session. But before we get to the Kakahole of the week and the inspirational story every week, I just want to touch on something that came up in social media, whereby, I saw a video of a guy asking the question, of his girlfriend, what does she bring to the table? And I found that video very interesting because I was like, ooh, okay then, what is she bringing to the table? And it I was like, oh, all right then. And these guys were in a relationship. They were already in a relationship. It's not like, they were now dating. It was a first date or something like that. And I just want to know, do you think it is fair? Is it right? Is it justified for a man to ask the woman, what do you bring to the table in a relationship? What do you guys think?
Yes.
I'm going to say yes too. Yeah.
It is absolutely fair.
Yes.
And it's a very important question, and it's a needed question that should be addressed.
Yes.
I mean, if we are serious and we are trying to build something, then we can't build without material. So I need to know what material are you bringing to this relationship to see what we can build upon. I'm going to tell you my role. I'm going to tell you what I'm contributing. I'm also going to tell you what's my burden and what I'm unable to do. And I need the same thing from you. I need the same effort from you. I need the same intensity from you. I need the same commitment from you. And if you're unable to give that commitment and you're unable to contribute, then let me know. So I know I have to bring in more materials into this relationship. But if we are seriously building something, of course, there's a question I'm going to ask you. What is the purpose? Are we dating? Are we just dating for fun? Or are we dating with a goal in mind? So if you're dating with a goal in mind, then you need to have a blueprint. You need to know the plan. And I'm going to ask you that exactly. What's your intention and what you're bringing? What you're contributing?
Yep. Facts.
Yes. Simple.
Would you use the exact words? What are you bringing to the table? Or would you?
I wouldn't use it like that.
See, but the question is that it's not sitting well with me. I don't think I'd appreciate if somebody says to me, "What am I bringing?" I would rather you question my integrity, my morals, and how I'm bringing.
That kind of parenting skill. If you're going to do that, I'd rather you do that.
I feel it's like, I think it depends on.
Exactly. Well, women do it differently. Women are smarter than men. And you guys are more subtle in it. So they're not going to ask you what you're bringing, but I'm going to ask you, where do you work? What do you do? Things of that nature. Because once I know where you work and what you earn and what's your background. Say it again?
All right. So wait, hold up. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to put this in context, and then I'm going to come to each of you to give your comments, because then everybody's talking about each other. I can't hear you properly. Right. So let me give you the context. Then I'm going to go to according to my screen. I'm going to go to Marsha, then Alexis, then to Uzziah, and then to Ida. That's the order we're going to go. So the context of this is these two people were in a relationship, and it looked like they went to some sort of relationship counselor. They were on a show or something like that. And the girlfriend was saying that he doesn't do this, or he doesn't do that, or he doesn't do the other, or he does this and she don't like it, or he does that and she doesn't like it. So she was really going off on the things that he don't do in the relationship and the things that she doesn't like. And he then turned around to her and he said, "But what do you bring to the table? In the sense that you're criticizing me about all of the stuff that I don't do, but what is you really bringing to the table?" So that was the concept. That was the context of what that was said. So it's different from, you being in a relationship and talking about if we building or whatever. Specifically, that context. So in that context, then, do you think it is fair for him to say to her, "What are you bringing to the table?" So Marsha first, then Alexis, then Zaya, then Ida. Alexis, want to go first? Alright, Alexis, you go first, then Marsha, then Zaya, then Ida.
I've seen your comments in the Shade Barra. I've seen all your comments up in the Shade Barra. You're invested in this. Make her go first.
Listen, I was never good at turn taking in school. What it is, I feel like there's two different things with this in it. There's the version of where this happened in relation to it was in amidst an argument. And as an argument, as like a beef type response, it was like, well, what do you bring?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one something.
Mm.
And then there's actually the question, which kind of what Zaya Music was saying in terms of actually two people having a very clear communicative conversation about what am I bringing to this relationship? What are you bringing to this relationship? Where do we meet in the middle? What am I lacking that you could bring? What are you lacking that I could, you know, that kind of interchange. But we're talking specifically about what happened in the kind of blue therapy situation, I think he was perfectly within his rights to ask the question, because she was saying you should, you know, all these monetary things he should do, and he should pay for this and he should pay for that, and money, because her dad gave her lots of money and her dad looked after her financially, treated her like a princess, treated her like a queen, while she just sit on and wait for Gucci bag. So when he then made the comment, babes, what are you? I personally felt that he was well within his rights to ask that question, because actually, what are you bringing in this? You want me as the man to provide, to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, Q, R, S, and you're sitting down and you ain't even giving me PIM. No.
Well, she probably given him PIM, eh? You know?
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, she probably giving him PIM. But then, you know, but then maybe that's what she's bringing to the table. Maybe that's what she should have said. I'm bringing PIM to the table, and you need to bring everything else. I don't know.
But did she not complain about something? She asked him, she said something, didn't she?
Yes. So
when's the last time you did PIM?
Yes. So right. So she was
when's the last time you PIM? That's what she said.
So that was the other couple in terms of like, yeah, that was the other couple. But she did ask the question. So she was saying like, you know, oh, at the beginning, you used to buy me Gucci, you used to take me to Hakkasan, you used to blah, 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 blah. And now you no longer do this. And I guess his point was, but babe, I'm trying to build us a house. You know, I'm trying to grow wealth. I'm trying to invest. I'm trying to blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, where's my Prada bucket hat? And I think this is what I mean by I feel like the question of what do you bring to the table, I actually think was warranted, because look, if you're not bringing to the same table, we need to cut road. We need to cut if you're not bringing something. That's me. I'll stop to.
Yeah. Masha.
Yeah, I saw that clip. They were definitely on two different pages. What she thought is important in a relationship and what he thought was important in a relationship. They're totally in two different stages of the relationship. She was still on the full courtship, take me out, buy me this, take me Hakkasan, take me Sexy Fish. I've been to both of those restaurants. Yes, they're expensive. The food's okay. You know, it's not such a big deal, you know. Was he valid to ask her back? Yeah, because the way she was spitting all those material things, she looked she came across like an empty void. And I don't like to see women themselves like that. At the end of the day, yes, these places are nice. Weave is nice. Prada's nice. Gucci is nice. But now the relationship has gone from the courtship early days, and hopefully they're trying to build a foundation together and go forward. So he can't be buying Gucci and Prada, you know, and taking a Hakkasan and Sexy Fish every other weekend if they want to build forward like that. Because in a couple of years' time, she'll soon be cussing him, saying, well, why are we still renting? Why are we still living in this little two-bedroom or one-bedroom flat? Why we haven't got the semi-detached with the double drive and the garage? And this is what she'll be asking for. And he'll say, well, you got the Gucci and the Prada. It was one of the other babes. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't think he wasn't right to say, to ask her that question. Me personally, if that was my sister, as soon as she come off, we're fighting. I'm saying, girl, that dippy kind of thing you're going on with there. Come, man, we go better than that. And my brother, I was damn right ask her, because, bro, you don't want to be caught up with that. So on both levels, it wasn't a good look. I didn't like it. Personally, yeah, he's valid to ask her. came across a bit too dibby for me. I like nice things too, but girlfriend, come on, it's not the be all and end all. If the only thing you're gonna spit out is Hakkasan and sexy fish, you're lost, girlfriend. You're lost.
Yeah. And what about the manner in which he said it? Because he was quite, I think he was quite pissed off. Because the way he said
He
it,
was
was, what do
upset.
you bring to the table?
Yeah, he was upset, and he just spit it back at her. He could have maybe said it differently.
He did.
You know us women, you know we're sensitive. We can spit what we want at you, but as soon as you spit back, we're like, oh, that was rude. Like, why did you say that like that? You know how we stay. Come on, you know how we stay. I do exactly the same. I'm gonna spit at you, but when you talk back to me, not too much bass in your voice and not bother with the coarseness with me. Yeah, talk light to me, talk light, and you'll get more reception out of me. But yeah, that's what it is. It's the way he spat it back at her, and because it was being filmed in public, she just felt shame. She felt shame.
Yeah,
she felt shame that her man was like,
probably she should have. Probably she should have, because she was coming across a bit shallow, isn't it? Zaya, what your thoughts? I think. What do you think?
Now, I did not see that episode. I'm not familiar with the show, but I've heard the concept. I'm curious, what was her response when he said that, though?
She was like, oh, I can't believe you're asking me that. I can't believe
you're asking that. Yeah, can you say that? That's rude. Literally.
Yeah.
So she had proper shocked like a spoiled child.
Yeah, the rattle came out literally like, oh
like
my God.
A real spoiled child. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, truthfully, I won't ask that question of any woman unless the relationship is really getting serious. Yeah, so it's not a question that I would typically ask everyone when I meet. But if I find that we are getting serious and I want to take it to the next level, then that's a question that someone should definitely ask, and it's definitely warranted. But Rasta Bobby, explained it so well that if I explain it again, I'd just be articulating the same points. But I totally agree with you.
Cool. And I don't think you gave a comment, but if there's anything else you want to say on that.
No, I'm in agreement. I would say I wouldn't like the question of what do you bring to the table, that question in itself. But I think if it was in a context that you sit down and you talk it over and you think, well, this is what I'm looking for and what are you looking, and on that level, yeah, that's fine. I think if you address it, but if you address it on the just like, what are you bringing? Sorry, what are you bringing, bro? I don't think it's just the way that question was.
But ironically,
came across.
I would be happy if a woman asked me that question. I would appreciate it if a woman asked me that question, because once you ask me that question, you open the door for me to return the question to you. So I will gladly stay without hesitation what I'm going to bring to this table, or what I can contribute and what we can build. And, as far as my good credit, as far as being caring, as far as being sensitive, as far as being an extraordinary cook and so forth, I will talk all the good things that I can do. But I'm also going to put you in that position as well. What are you bringing to the table to contribute? We want a nice house, we want a nice car. What we prioritize, what are we building, what are we investing? And I'd like to hear about some of your investments, and I'd like to hear about your 750 credit score, and so forth, and what do you own besides a Chanel bag? So I would appreciate if a woman asked me that question, because it gives me the opportunity to ask her back.
I think
definitely.
The thing that people were talking about was the fact that there are some women, I don't necessarily agree with this, but I hear it as a point. There are some women that, again, feel as if a woman brings a woman to the partnership. So there were some people in the comments that were kind of saying, well, I will eventually carry your children. I will eventually, there's the emotional side of things. There's the nurturing side of things. So actually, the man should not ask the question of a woman, because a woman just within her womandom is what she brings. While there are some that feel that actually the man should kind of be proving, or kind of saying, well, the credit score, the house, the car, the blah, blah, the blah, blah. While the woman just in herself as a woman is what she's bringing.
Definitely not true at all, though.
No,
in
fair
that
enough.
regard. I mean, in
Yeah,
relationships, I think
definitely true.
right. Go on.
Yeah.
Right.
I
No,
get
no,
it
go
though.
ahead, Zaya, go
I
ahead.
can understand that thinking from some people. I think it's a bit outdated. But I can see some people having that viewpoint, but I just think it's outdated.
Mhm.
Is
I
that
mean,
is
we all
that
expected to
is
give
that to home?
100% in a relationship, but I think in a relationship, when we give 100%, our relationship doesn't have to be 50-50. I might be 60% in one area and you contribute 40% and this equals 100. You know, you might be 75% in one area and I'm only 25% in that area, but we come together and we make 100. So there's no such thing as that you have to empty the garbage this equal amount of time that I empty garbage. Or it doesn't mean that you have to cook food the equal amount of time that I cook food. Or you even have to pay the bill the equal amount that I pay the bill. So we all contribute to our strength and our ability, you know, and as long as it's equal for us and we have the understanding that hell with the rest of the world on how to view our relationship, you know, but I think we all could come to 100%, but it varies. Some people might be 75, 25, 60, 40, 70, 30. If it works for them, it works for them and it's no one else's business.
And I think this is why these conversations,
No, agreed.
conversations have to come early though, because if these type of table conversations don't come early, that's why 6, 7, 8 years down the line, you got the big argument, but you don't even pay for nothing though. And then it's a whole and see what I mean? Well, actually, if these conversations happen early and you get on the same page where it's okay if in this particular area it's 75-25 or it's okay in this particular area it's 60-40, there's kind of a communication. While I feel like the reason them two were having that beef was because he supposedly stopped doing what he did in the beginning and she was no longer happy with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about it is that she came across as like a spoiled child, you know, and really someone who had a silver spoon, and therefore once the silver spoon stopped feeding her, she got upset. You know, that's how she came across. I just want to move us on because in the interest of time, we just over 15 minutes left in the show, and you know, in terms of the Kakahole of the week. This is an issue that we've discussed before on this forum, which is around racism. But, you know, there was an incident that recently happened where a white patron, female patron, was very abusive, verbally abusive, and physically. She pushed a black bouncer outside of a club.
And she spat on it.
The thing about it is, and yeah, she spat on him. Yeah, she spat at him as well. And I must say kudos to the brother who kept his calm and professionalism in a situation like that, because clearly he could have flawed her if he wanted to, but he handled that situation impeccably. She wanted to get into the club. She was clearly intoxicated. She did not have her ID on her. And everybody knows in these clubs you have to show ID. Even if you look 40 years old, they ask you for your ID. You have to present your ID. And she had her ID in her car. She didn't want to go to the car to get the ID to show the bouncer. And she therefore hurtled, abused at him, calling him, she did call him a nigger, didn't she? And, you know, using obscene language against him, proceeded to try to push him, to spit at him, because she didn't want to go to her car to get her ID to gain entry into the club. Now, that behavior obviously is deplorable, must be, you know, condemned, is not something I should stand for. But more interestingly is the statement that she put out after the backlash happened on social media, and she subsequently deleted her account. So I saw the statement that she put out, which was a supposed apology, but not really an apology, because in that statement, she then proceeded to explain that she was drunk, and that, you know, people get drunk and they say all sorts of things when they get drunk, and therefore, you know, why it is people being so harsh at her because she was drunk. She's lost her job. Isn't that good enough for you guys? You know, that I've lost my job, you know, and therefore, you know, why is it that people coming at her like this? You know, people say all sorts of things when they're drunk, right? And therefore, somehow, that was justified. The statement didn't start, or even a short statement saying, I really apologize for what happened. My behavior was irresponsible. It was very deplorable. I shouldn't have behaved in that manner towards that guy. It wasn't along those lines. It's more, she got on the defensive in that statement, I found. And my thing about it is so many issues, and we wouldn't be able to talk about all of it tonight. But she gets Cackerhole of the Week, definitely for me. But the deep-seated issues, because usually when you're drunk, inebriated, that's when your inner thoughts come out. People are saying, a drunk tongue don't tell no lies. You understand? So if it is that's how you truly feel about people, and then she proceeded to say, I have black co-workers and I've dated black men as some sort of justification, because she said, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. I have black co-workers and I've dated black men. So therefore that qualifies her as being non-racist, and therefore justifies her behavior to this black bouncer. So for me, the issues around your true feelings, which you've tried to hide, because yes, you are racist. I don't know, I can't remember her name, but you are racist, number one. And number two, in terms of how she then insulted us, as a people, by them trying to say, well, I'm not racist because I have black co-workers and I've dated black men before. I mean, people need to really understand how deep this thing goes, and you need to educate yourself. And I would say to anybody who thinks that they are not racist, please try to educate yourself on different cultures and how you're going to approach people, because I felt very insulted by that statement, number one. I don't know how the guy felt, but I felt insulted, and I just think we have a long way to go in this society. And I remember having a discussion earlier on this week. I remember when the whole George Floyd thing came about, and of course, George Floyd anniversary was yesterday. Britain is not as racist as America. We seem to pride ourselves that Britain is not as racist as America. But Britain has been responsible for unleashing the most atrocities against black people through colonization. So how then could this society be absolved or be less racist than anywhere else when this is like the mecca of where it started? And we need to address that, and we need to talk about that, and I know we're not going to cover it tonight, but it's just to get everybody's reaction on that issue, how she came across her subsequent statement, and of course, again, the exemplary way in which the brother dealt with that situation, because, being spat at is something that really raises your blood. And I commend him. I really commend him for keeping his cool, because if I was in his position, I cannot guarantee that I would have been able to keep my cool, being pushed, being verbally abused, and then being spat at. So let's start with Ida first, and then we will come around. So Ida, Zaya, Alexis, and then Marsha.
I don't know. I mean, like yourself, I take my hat off to him. I think just for me, just to think if he had touched her, it would have been a complete different conversation. You can imagine, like, to be spat on, and if he could just touch her like that or even slapped her, she wouldn't be arrested. He would be the perpetrator. He would have been classified as the abuser. And, it would have been a whole different concept. But the fact that he stood there, well, he got pushed, and then she spat at him. So, like yourself, I'm actually appalled, because even the context that she brought it out is like, I have black co-workers. That stood out. So what? You got co-workers. They're not your friends. They're co-workers. Big deal.
Exactly.
Like you wanted a medal for it. I have co-workers and I went out with black men. So what? So it's okay for you to call somebody a nigger or spit at him or a monkey or whatever that she used, the derogatory terms that she used. It's okay, I guess. So I'm glad she got arrested. She's the biggest cackerhole for it. Yes. I'm glad she arrested. Apparently she did hand in herself into the police station. But I do agree with you in the sense that yes, it needs to be addressed as a whole. We need to talk about it because it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable at all that we should just roll over and just think. And it's come to that.
Exactly.
It's come to that.
Yes.
It's like a norm. They put out a little thing. We're sorry. We didn't mean it. You know, sorry, just and forget about it. Just kind of sweep it under
Yeah.
the carpet.
Mm-hmm. And I agree. I agree. We must continue to talk about it and call it out. Zaya, over to you.
Okay, now in regards to Cackahole of the week, I really don't have a Cackahole of the week. I know because of time we also were supposed to mention at least one inspiration of the week or one positive person for the week. And I think I'd rather take my time to focus on the positive person of the week. And one positive person of the week or inspirational person of the week that I'd like to mention is a former basketball player in the NBA. It goes by the name of Kwame Brown. And it may not be familiar with you guys because he never became a superstar like LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. Now, Kwame Brown was drafted number 1, meaning he was the top pick to come into the NBA at the age of 18. So from high school, he went straight into the NBA and started making millions of dollars. Long story short, he never materialized to his expectations. He never became an all-star. He never became a starter. He never became a good player in the NBA. So he was always criticized as this person who was the hype, and he came out of high school and we had so much expectations for him, and everybody labeled him a bust, a bust, a bust. He's a failure. He's a piece of garbage. So finally, this guy decided to speak up. And then he says, how could you call me a bust and a failure when I came from a poverty-stricken family, when my father was incarcerated and I took my whole family out of poverty? How could you call me a bust when I've never been arrested, never been convicted, never been accused of anything illegal, where I was able to accumulate $60 million for my family and my family are well off? How could you call me a failure? So it kind of put things in perspective that it's one thing to score points on a basketball court. It's on a basketball court. It's another thing to score points in real life. And in real life, I think he is a champion. And I think he is a hero. And he has the respect and admiration of his family. And I'm proud that he had the time to speak out. Because other people will always try to call you a failure or judge you to what their expectations are and say that you wasn't successful. He said, I took my family out of poverty. Yes, I didn't score a lot of baskets. I didn't satisfy your expectation, but my family is well off because of the sacrifices I made. So that's why I say he's my inspiration of the week.
No, and that's a really, really inspiring story as well. I mean, we do have some inspirational story of the week, and we will have to continue this discussion further because the group that we want to give recognition to is called Respect Rebellion. And there's a serious issue happening in the UK, especially in London, where a lot of Black people are going missing. Black children and young people are going missing. And it's something that we need to shed a light on because it is very, very worrying. But this group, Respect Rebellion, have come together from people of the community who are patrolling the streets in London, especially at schools, to protect our children. Because we have people, very unscrupulous people, going around snatching children off the streets. We had a case where a young boy was snatched from school, taken to a house somewhere in London and was drugged. Luckily, he escaped and he informed police as well as his parents and everybody else that there were other children in the house where he was kept. And this is something that's very, very worrying. So we just want to big up Respect Rebellion and everybody from the community who is involved in doing that, and everyone who has been posting and reposting about our missing children and our missing young people. And we will continue to be vigilant to protect ourselves because something is definitely happening. So we will talk a bit more about them in the next segment, but that's definitely our inspiration of the week. And I just want to touch on for the last few minutes another cackahole of the week, which we might talk about further in another session as well, which is President Joe Biden. So your president, Zaya. There was a clip circulating with him saying that that they're going to send 60 million AstraZeneca vaccines that have not been FDA approved to other countries. So they're not keeping it for Americans. they're going to send all of it, his words, all of it, all 60 million doses to other countries, which has not been approved by the FDA. And I just think, man, you've got to be a big cackahole, because if it's first of all, it's unapproved by the FDA. Why are you giving it away? We know why you're giving it away. So why don't you wait and go through the process for it to be FDA approved and give it to Americans? But no, you're not doing that. You're openly saying that you're giving unapproved medication to foreign countries. And I think we could all guess which foreign countries this is going to happen. We don't think it's going to come to the UK. We know that for sure. You know, those are unapproved FDA vaccines are not going to come to the UK. They're going to end up in other places where they probably don't have the clout to stand up to America and say, no, we don't want this because it's unapproved. So that's our second cackahole for the week. And I just want to say to everybody, you know, before I wrap up, any thoughts on the cackleholes or the inspirational stories? You have literally like about 4 minutes to make a point. So Alexis, yes, and then Ada.
I just want to say, in terms of the first cackahole, the woman, one thing that we have to remember. My belief is that the tears of white women are weapons of mass destruction. And the tears of white women have caused problems worldwide. And I think slowly but surely, people are starting to wake up to this. So the fact that her random, dead, pointless apology, inverted commas, has fallen on deaf ears, I would hope is people waking up to a white woman crying that she didn't mean it is not okay. And actually, the fact that as a black man, he has to find the resolve to be spat on and hit and still not respond in any way is actually disgusting. Like, you know, it's completely here, you know, kind of applaud, because yeah, he had to keep his resolve, because otherwise worse would have happened to him. However, what we really need to think about is, as black people, we need to be making it a lot clearer that when our white friends that we want to invite to the cookout do foolishness, we need to call it out regularly. We need to say, no, I don't care if you're my mate, you've done something racist. That's not okay. This is why it's not okay. Go read a book. I know we don't, that's all the time we have.
No, and that's a serious thing, because that point that you make, yes, I applaud him for keeping calm, but why should he keep calm? Why is it that society is engineered that if we react to extreme acts of racism and violence, that we are expected to remain calm? Because if that was anybody else, they would react normal. Your natural instinct would kick in. So why is it that it's expected for us? Because the system has been engineered against us. Because if we react, we're the villain. It's not seen as self-defense. It's not seen as standing up for yourself. It's not seen as, you know, a natural reaction. Because already black people are labeled as aggressive. You know, how many times have as black women were labeled as aggressive or troublesome? If you stand up for yourself or you speak out, you know, you're a troublemaker. You know, as a black man, if you defend yourself, well, you know, black men are aggressive, black men are aggressive, you know, but it shouldn't be that way. And therefore, we need to continue to call that out. So that's a very important point. In the last minute of the...
It's not going to... So I was going to give you another cackahole of the day, but we're going to have to catch another one. I remembered it.
We're going to have to save it. We're going to have to save it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to save some of this sauce, because, you know, this sauce is so hot. It is so hot that we can't get all of it. We have to let it spill over into the next session. So just as a close off, I want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to everyone for all your comments in the comments box, you know, from everywhere, from Trinidad to the UK to wherever you were joining in. Thank you for all your comments and your participation. Thank you to everyone on the panel, Marsha, Alexis, Zaya out in Brooklyn, New York, and Ada. Thank you very much, guys. Guys, our Instagram handles will be posted up so you can follow us. So please do follow us. Please do share the live. Tell your friends. Come back and watch it over again with your friends. Make it into a watch party. and let's keep the discussion going. The key thing is that we need to have these discussions. These are important discussions. It could never get old. It could never get tired, because it's always relevant. So we're going to keep talking about the issues that affect us, the things them, and continue to bring you the hot sauce. So everybody, we are signing off for tonight. My name is Giselle, and it has been lovely being your host. Thank you to Carnival Slayers for this platform, and thank you to Martin Abraham, who has been doing our technical stuff in the background. So thank you very much, Martin, for all of that. And guys, it's been wonderful seeing all of you. You look absolutely amazing and beautiful. And I hope that everyone enjoys the rest of the day or their night as it is. And we will do this again. We will convene again. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. All right.
Thanks,
See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Giselle.
It's still live.